Alright, I think it's supposed to be like that, right? I mean, if you feel the answer is too short, you just straight away jump in.
I will jump in, but I cannot be too long. I cannot be too long.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Drone Tech Asia 2025. So to all our friends online, we are live today with our engineers at Drone Tech Asia 2025. So before we start, I'm just going to share a little bit. We've just launched the Tech 50 engineered in Malaysia agriculture spraying drone a while ago. So I'm going to ask the engineers next to me, how did they feel about the launch? We'll start with Jiyoung.
We are definitely excited to see the drone finally launching in Malaysia.
Is the mic? Testing. Yeah. I share the same enthusiasm with Jiyoung. It was a memorable and it was a success today here at Drone Tech Asia.
So for those of you online listening to us, tuning in, if you have any questions for us, our engineers for Aonic, do leave it at the comment section. We will get back to you. So you might have missed out on don't worry, we will share footages after the 3-day event. And of course, if you are free in KL today, or tomorrow or the day after, we are still here at Tech Kuala Lumpur. All right. So maybe just to start, I'm going to share a little bit about Jiyoung and Ivan. So Jiyoung is a project engineer at Aonic. He is the man behind the Tech 50. And we have Ivan, our sales engineer as well. So before I start, maybe can you let the audience know, what do you do at Aonic, Jiyoung?
Hi, so my role in Aonic is a project engineer. So what I do day-to-day basis is to align my team member behind the Tech 50 to make sure that we align with the market needs, all the farmers' feedbacks, and what do farmers really need to help to ease their works.
Understand. So how do you know about market needs? Do you have a conversation with Ivan? So maybe Ivan can share a little bit, like, what you do.
Yep. So just to add on, I'm a sales engineer and I basically act like a microphone for the farmers on the ground who has a lot of questions or a lot of requirements that they need to pass on. So all of this, as a sales engineer, I will collect data, do POC, and I will feed back to Jiyoung, who will then use it to develop and improvise the next coming drones.
So it seems like the both of you work very closely with one another. You get, Ivan, you get feedback from the ground, and then you have a lot of conversations with Jiyoung, and Jiyoung then leads the team and translate it to what people on the ground actually need, right? So I'm sure that there's a lot of memorable moments when you work with one another. Can you share a little bit, maybe start with Jiyoung, can you share a little bit, what was one memorable moment when you went to do the first field test with Tech 50?
So the first field test for Tech 50 is actually like a report card day for the engineering team. So throughout our hard work, our testing so far, it's finally the day that we are receiving our report card in front of the client and our bosses. Yep.
Yeah. So just to add on a little bit to that story, that was actually the most memorable moment for us is because we were actually experimenting almost everything for the first time. We were doing this in a mountainous region with you either do it or you don't. So it was pretty memorable because a lot of expectation was placed and it all went into inspiration because it went perfectly fine. The spray went fine and I would say everyone was satisfied with the results. The customer and even as engineers, we were happy to see it actually fly safely. That is the most memorable moment for us.
Understood. So thanks for sharing that. What about, did you recall maybe some reactions or some comments from the end user when you were doing some field tests?
Yes, we do. We have many memorable moments. One of the biggest memorable moment was because our drone, we were not the first one to do it. There were many others, but we always found that they always had an accuracy issue. It doesn't hit right, and they were very impressed by how accurate our system was. Jiyoung, maybe you want to add in more how we achieved the accuracy?
So basically, we have our own RTK systems that to ensure that the overall accuracy is achieved in centimeter terms. So what my team and the company did is we want to ensure that all the data that we collected is accurately mapped and then accurately flight execution. Yep.
Yeah, so thanks for that. Maybe since we've just launched the Mistec 50, you shared a little bit about the stories behind the drone. Maybe in your own words, can you share what is Mistec 50? What is it for, and who is it designed for? Maybe start with Jiyong, and then we go to Ivan.
So Mistec 50, by the name, it says that the drone can carry 50 liters. So any farmers or any plantations that require large volume of spraying will will be suitable to use the drone. Yep.
So to add on to that, we actually developed the drone in line with the market requirement. Because as we started exploring beyond paddy, more and more plantation required higher volume spraying. And so we decided, hey, why not we build that requirement and make it locally engineered in Malaysia so we have full control of the system. And that was the story of how Mistec came into being, from an idea into flying actual models.
So definitely very inspiring. So maybe to share with our audiences online as well, um, what is the advantage of having control over our own flight system? Maybe Jiyong can answer this, or Ivan?
So the best part of having the full control of the system is that we're not only able to monitor the whole system from scratch, meaning we know what happens, how it flies and all. We're actually able to monitor the manufacturing process. So in terms of quality assurance, in terms of after sales, or even management system, everything is locally safe in Malaysian data. So it's all data privacy is protected. We have able to better understand what happens, and we can come up with a fast formulation in case there's an issue, there's a problem. Everything is locally created and locally accountable for the Mistec 50. That is the key highlight, I would say. Maybe Jing, you want to add on anything?
So to add on a little bit is that our maintenance out there is always facing an issue to find out the root cause of every crashes. The control of hardware and firmware that we are doing, we actually can better understand the farmers, how they use, and then how to improve the product in overall. Yep.
Okay. So you've heard us. If you're a farmer out there, plantation owner, anyone in agriculture, if you are thinking about getting a drone, Aonic do provide after-sales services, and of course, again, like what Ivan and Jung has mentioned, we have control over our own flight system. So if there's any things that we need to troubleshoot, the team is actually locally ready, available here in Malaysia, as well as in the region to assist. All right. So I'm sure developing a drone in Malaysia, it's not an easy fit. It's not something easy to do for the engineering team. Can you just share, there might be a lot of challenges you can think about, your history about building this drone, but just narrow to maybe one biggest challenge that you have faced, and probably a challenge that you've already overcome, and the drone has launched today. You're a little bit glad about it, happy about it, but just share that one challenge. Let's start with Ivan.
I'm so yeah, so one of the challenges for the sales engineer was primarily figuring out the requirement of the customer. So customers have different requirements. I want a longer flight time, I want this, I want that. Trying to iron it out to something which is viable for us to do was the biggest challenge, because when we dig down further into the root cause of why they wanted this, only then we found out, oh, it's not because they needed a bigger battery. It's actually because they just needed a higher volume spray, faster, bigger tank and all. So it wasn't always about the battery, a common misconception. So I think the challenge for sales was primarily identifying and finding out what was the real issue they were looking at. And Jiyoung, would you like to add on?
For us, one of the biggest challenge that we face is this is one of the biggest drone that my team is developing. So the size is a big issue, and then the motor as well is we never used to it. So it's a very big challenge for us to get the drone hover stably in the air, but we eventually made it.
So
Yeah.
maybe you can share a little bit to the audience as well. How did the engineering team overcome the challenge that you mentioned, Jiyong?
So continuous testing is one of our main solution. So continue testing to understand the things that we are using, the drone behavior itself, and then analyze what was the issue, and a lot of try and error in the end. Yeah, so that's how we solve the
So
thing.
I think our audience also very keen to hear with the on the engineering team. What about the team dynamics? Like how, as you lead the team, how do you overcome some of this? Maybe some of them became really frustrated because a lot of testing has to be done, right?
So basically, team do support each other. So whenever the testing fails or whatsoever, we have a brainstorm session. So each of us provide some of our view regarding the issues. Then, in order for the testing team to have a better understand or think out of the box, basically. Yeah.
Ivan, what about on the sales team side? Anything you would like?
I think for us, the dynamics between our agriculture team was quite flexible in a sense. It's because we had different clients and each of them had different personalities. And
Different personalities.
personality.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, so you have what we, in the sales terminology, we have people who are more, I want results, and then you have more very questionable about whether it works. These kind of things that we dealt with, we have to do proof of concepts and all, trial runs and all that. And each of them always had a different reaction. So I think the challenge was bearing with the fact that not every POC led to a confirmed sales, or not every POC worked out for us. So it's hard on the sales engineer side, as disappointment is part of our job scope. I won't lie. But that is
So
what.
are you very used to disappointment
Yes.
by now?
Yeah,
It's
disappointment
part of
is
the job.
disappointment is part of the job, but it actually made us grow stronger as a team, because from each iteration, each revision, able to, okay, we understand this, we knew where we went wrong and how we can improve it.
And I'm sure you feel very fulfilled, once.
Yes, every team always feel fulfilled, because eventually we found that one mark that, wow, so this was how we were supposed to run it.
That's actually very inspiring. So I have a next question for the both of you. I think just now Ivan mentioned something about safety. I was very excited, very happy, very glad to know that we've not only produced Malaysia's first agriculture spraying drone, 50-liter spraying drone, we've also ensured that we don't compromise safety. So perhaps this question is for Jiyong first. How did we ensure that we balance efficiency and the quality of the product, as well as safety of the end users, as well as we know that drones, we fly in the public airspace. We don't want it to fly, crash, hurt somewhere, right? How do we balance all that?
So safety is always the top priority for us. So what we do is we try to integrate as much sensor as possible to understand the drone behavior, to make sure that every moment of the drone in operation are captured, the data are captured, so we are able to do analysis back end if needed, or if there's something bad happen, we are able to understand that what has user done, or if there's anything wrong with my drone, yeah, I'm able to know it instantly. So yeah, safety is always our main priority.
Yeah, safety has always been our main priority as engineers. And just to add a little bit more interesting fact is that when we developed the drone, we actually came out with checklists, steps, SOPs, standard operating procedures, and all that. And so it does come into our surprise that even with all this, you still could make a mistake, such as simple as locking the arm of the drone. So how this came into safety is that we understand that we cannot control every process, but we can minimize most of the actions, most of the interactions that will lead to it. So when we work together with the software and the engineering team as sales side, we give feedbacks. We actually tell the nature of how our customer operates. So hence, we even have implemented multiple safety systems, even double redundancy for almost everything. So nowadays, we say, if you still can crash it, you tell us how you did it, because we want to know how you amazingly achieved that. But please don't.
All right, so it's good to know that Aonic actually prides ourselves in terms of safety, in terms of standard operating procedures, and I still think that there's a lot of training that's also involved in all the equipment that we put out there. So, since we're at Drone Tech Asia 2025 today and the next 2 days, can you share a little bit more, like what is the difference of the Mist Flight app as compared to all the other drones that you see today in the exhibition? Maybe start with Gio.
So the Mist Fly app that we developed here is very localized to the farmers. So the features that we have are all basically been requesting by the farmers locally. Other than that, we also have localized language so that the farmers can understand. It's easier for the farmers to understand what they are doing in terms of language barrier. Yep.
So, just to add on a little bit, or to ask another question on that. So you mentioned that there's a localized language and farmers and so on and so forth. What crops is the drone typically being used for?
So the drone basically can use on all type of crops. So paddies, palm oil, pineapple, corn, yeah, anything that you can think of, you may find our sales engineer the solutions for you.
Okay, so I hear that Juyong has asked Ivan to explain a bit more about the usage and application that we already have in the region. So maybe Ivan can share a little bit more about the application of Mistec 50.
Yes. So Mistec 50, how it was designed, was primarily meant for high volume spraying. So we're looking at applications such as durian, palm oil spraying, and all for bagworm and all. Because why these specific crops? And why is primarily because durian and palm oil plantation has high requirement for high volume spraying. Number two, they are usually run as a plantation. So even our software was designed to accommodate these kind of special requests where we have the tech version where our software is able to support fleet management system. So even for estate level, because you usually use workers and all, they may not be very good in English, perhaps, but they are able to understand the basic steps. And since every process is controlled, estate owners are even able to manage their fleets of drones. So there's no more worries about having our system outside. It takes time. Everything is locally customizable to the user's preference for the Malaysian market. That's one thing I like to also highlight that Jiong has mentioned.
So I also understand at the booth we showcase Malaysia and also other countries in the region. So is this drone also available in the future across different parts of the world?
Yep. Yes, it is. It is locally available. If you say you're in Malaysia, you get it from our Malaysian branches, 15 plus branches across Malaysia. If let's say you're in Thailand, yes, we also sell in Vietnam, Laos. What if we are not in any of the Southeast Asian countries? No worries. We also export the Mist drone for global. So no worries about supports and all. We have it all here in Malaysia.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ivan. So again, we are at Drone Tech Asia 2025. So if you are in KL, do join us this afternoon, or if not, the next 2 days. All right. So I have a few more questions for Gio and Ivan, since I think you're still very excited from the launch, right? And one of the question is, can you share a little bit, for Jiong, can you share a little bit, for Mistec 50, it's a 50-liter drone. Operationally, is it more complex to operate compared to the smaller drones that we see at Aonic booth today?
In terms of complexity, there won't be a difference compared to the smaller capacity drones. We create the software to be user-friendly. So every purchase of our BD actually providing 2 to 3 days training to ensure that the farmers or the users actually can operate on their own. So that's our target before releasing fully to the customers.
Okay, that's very, very reassuring to know. What about other things that we support? Because just now you mentioned there's equipment training. Is there anything else, maybe Ivan, you can share on this?
Yeah. So beyond equipment training, our 15 branches also includes technician on site. So if let's say you have your drone suddenly can't fly or has an issue, or you kind of forgot how to fly the drone, no worries. Our 15 branches comes with the business developers who are also trainers who will help you retrain. They also have technician on site who can assist in repairs, after sales care, and troubleshooting. We also have dedicated technos or agriculture BDs who will guide you in how to mix agrochemical correctly. So we're not just selling a drone or a product, we're selling a solutions to our customers.
So thanks. I think it's very important to also have that ecosystem to actually support, because again, like what you mentioned, it's an emerging technology, and you have clients whereby you have to do a lot of POC. Again, same with any other emerging technology, we have to prove that it works. And I think today we are very happy to say that it does work. Of course, Aonic to continue to support, our end users across Malaysia, Thailand, all the different countries in the region. So, two last questions. Perhaps I'll push one to Jiyong first. So this is more for those online or in person that are looking to join the drone industry. I think there's a lot of us here today. Can you share a little bit, what role do you see engineering teams or engineers play in shaping the career, shaping the future of sustainable agriculture? So a lot of people here, we want to contribute back to our nation. Of course, when we are looking for a career, a job in the drone industry, it's a lot more meaningful to have that. So can you share a little bit, Jiyong?
I think to be a engineer that you want to contribute in drone industry, the most important thing is you need to be passionate on this, the drone itself.
As passionate as Jiyong.
Yeah, I'm very passionate on this. Yeah, so as long as you have the passion to understand how drone works, you are able to contribute something eventually if you understand them. Yep.
Did you started in the drone industry knowing how drones work already?
No, but I personally put a lot of efforts to understand the back end. So every day there's a why, like why this work, why don't work. Then eventually you will be able to understand more and more back end.
Understand. Maybe Ivan.
Yeah, I just want to add on something. It's something that everyone should know. Passion plays a huge role. It's because for the history of Aonic, we were founded in 2016 by a passionate group of engineers. It wasn't just some random idea. It was actually founded by a group of engineers with passions to build drones. So for any upcoming engineers who are passionate about drone, yeah, please do send your resume and join us at Aonic Sdn Bhd.
So that's a very good add-on. So besides passion, what are the skill sets you think, let's say someone in university today or maybe in high school today, they are trying to get into engineering or engineering within the drone technology industry. What skill set do they need to have, or what maybe soft skills do they need to have?
I think in terms of, if you're asking about soft skills, it's definitely hardworking and curiosity. You need to be very curious on every things happen behind the drone. Even if it works well, you must always ask yourself why it works well. Or if it doesn't, then why does it not work well? I think remaining the curiosity is one of the biggest things to have.
Yeah, so thanks for that. Being passionate, being curious and all that, that's very, very important. So yeah, that brings us to the end of our panel. But a question online. So, just one question, maybe for Ivan. How much training do I need before I can safely fly the Tech 50? Is it very technical? So just now, Jiyong did say it's not that much different in terms of operational as compared to the smaller drones. But what about like just flying the Tech 50? Is it very difficult?
Okay, that's a very, very good question. How long does it take to fly a drone? That really depends on how well versed or how well familiar you are with the drone or flying in general. So on average, just for our side, when we train farmers and all, they usually will take at least 2 to 3 days on average to familiarize themselves and actually use it already for operational application. Anything beyond the 2-3 days is also possible, and that's also why we are prepared to provide the full support as needed. As I said, we have trainers, supports, and all at our branches to help this kind of stuff.
So is 2-3 days enough? Because you mentioned that longer duration is also doable, but typically is 2 to 3 days enough?
Yep. 2 to 3 days is enough. And if let's say you plan to take this as a career choice, you want to go further, then we would suggest you look into our academy section for RCOCB and all. all those certifications so you can be a dedicated drone pilot to serve Malaysia's agriculture needs as well.
All right, so thanks for that, Ivan. So maybe just to Jiong and Ivan, anything you would like to say to our audience online, for maybe just to share, like how is it at Drone Tech Asia today, or any questions that they might want to ask? You should share a few words.
Let's start with Mr. Jiong.
So please come visit the Drone Tech Asia.
Come to see Jiong.
Yeah, come to see our drones, not me. We do have a lot of different players here with different technologies that we can that you will be able to understand the industry better.
For me, it's straightforward. Be inspired, be passionate, and be resilient. Come to Drone Tech Asia to find more about the brains behind the Tech 50.
All right, so thank you very much, Jiong. Thank you very much, Ivan, for the insightful panel. So for everyone, we will be here in the next 2 more days. So do come join us. If you have any questions, reach out to us online or even offline at the exhibition. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Hey, Jiong. Have you